Okay, today I'm here at the very loud highway median station that is West Falls Church, which is one of the most interesting stations on the entire network. I don't know if you can see it behind me here, but there are two sets of tracks behind me. Then if I turn around, there's one up here. This is one of two triple track stations and double platform in the entire system, with the other one being National Airport. Now, if we also look back over here behind me, if I can get it in shot, there's just a train sitting in that middle track there. So one of the big reasons why this is a triple track station is because most of the lines will have their rail yard at the end of the line. If you look at the green line, they have a yard at Greenbelt and they have a yard at Branch Avenue. Red line, they have one at Shady Grove, they have one at Glenmont. This is close to the terminus of Vienna, but there's no yard at Vienna. So we're looking for the maintenance yard here is actually just beyond us. It's not at the terminus, it's a few stations up. So they have that middle track there set to access the rail yard. It's been even more important recently as the Silver Line actually divulges one stop down at East Falls Church. So we have some Silver Line trains possibly using this maintenance yard as well. So they have that middle track so that way trains can pass through or use it for parking or as a switchback or whatever it's called, pocket track, without them having to go all the way out to Ashburn, which is a ridiculous distance, especially if you have a train with some sort of maintenance issues that needs taken out of circulation. Now, another interesting thing you'll see is these little roof lines back here. Those may not look like anything special, but they really are, and we'll go take a look at them here in a few minutes. That's the other really interesting thing about this station. Just to show here what we're talking about, we have a new Carrollton-bound train over there. This one's just stuck there doing nothing, and this is where I came from on a Vienna-bound train a few minutes ago. And they're both full-size platforms. We can see here no trains from this side of the platform, so I'm guessing they don't really actually have passenger trains going in and out from that side. Now, whenever you look at the signage for it, some of them just say West Falls Church, some of them say West Falls Church VTUVA. That is because this station is very close to the main Virginia Tech campus. Well, the main one of the DMV at least, and UVA for the University of Virginia. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to go on the other platform. I don't know if there's much of a reason for me to, but we'll take a look around the platform side here past fare control. Once again, you will see why these little roofs up here are so special. To be perfectly honest, with this train in the way, it's hard to tell it's even a double platform station from here, but it is. 8-car train, those aren't very common anymore these days. So the station sits in the middle of I-66 in Fairfax County, so you might see it over there in the distance. We do have car traffic on either side, and unfortunately, the car traffic tends to be faster than the train traffic. It's more noticeable in the Silver Line because the Silver Line runs down the Dulles corridor for way longer, but it's also noticeable here. Here and on the Silver Line are the only areas where the stations are in the highway right-of-way. It's not super loud here. It looks like they're doing an okay job at soundproofing, but down towards the ends where we don't have the concrete and we have just the fencing, it gets a lot louder. Okay, now that there's no train on the middle tracks, we can get a better view of the station here. I do want to point out this is very unusual, not just in DC, but in most metro systems outside of like Spain. Even then, in my experience, trains boarding passengers from the middle track don't do the Spanish solution anyways. So, I guess even that's a bad comparison. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing if there's a great elevated train spotting area up here. There might kind of be one over here, but It's not as great as the one at Branch Avenue. Come down here, we'll see if we can get a good look at all the action. I don't think so. This looks like the view's pretty heavily obstructed. Yeah, that's not a great view. So, view of I-66. This is DC bound. Looks like they have express lanes, or that's just, nope, it's just an on-ramp. Never mind. Got a pedestrian walkway. They got them on both sides. Well, actually, no, they don't. Once again, you'll see why in a moment. They only have it on the south side. So, slight spoiler. This is an abandoned bus station that, if I'm not mistaken, is accessible to the public for some reason, and there are some people that park over here. So despite there being really nothing over here, they have a functioning elevator and escalator. I don't know if I caught it in the video, but if I'm not mistaken, like there's nothing on the navigation sign up there, like normal will say like to the bus bay or something. It didn't say anything. So here we are. This is the abandoned bus station at West Falls Church. It gets used as parking. I don't know if it's supposed to be used as parking, but it does get used as parking. Let's go take a look around. This is going to be a bit of a blast from the past. Story time. So, back in the day, pre-Silver Line, I'm talking before phase 1 of the Silver Line, this was an active bus station. This is where you would catch the bus out to Dulles Airport. They also had a bunch of Fairfax Connector and Metro buses out from here as well. Problem is, whenever the first Silver Line extension was built, all of those buses got routed up to Tysons or to Wheelie, Reston East to make it easier to get out over there. I've seen some stuff showing that there may very occasionally be a shuttle out to Wolf Trap from here. I'm not sure. The sources on that I've seen have been not great. So all of the buses that actually serve this region have actually been on the other side where they have a more traditional bus bay. Here is only buses bound for I-66 towards Vienna and Dulles. And with the opening of the first phase of the Silver Line, none of those bus services were needed anymore. They were all routed up to the Silver Line. But they still have this whole massive bus station here. I don't know why this area is still accessible to the public. I imagine people come down here by mistake all the time and then get confused and lost because there's no pedestrian way out of here. The only way is onto I-66. Like, it's only highway access. Yeah, let's go explore. So coming out from the station entrance, which is right behind me, we're gonna go right to start. It's like here we have some sort of maintenance road. It still makes sense for this area to be open for, like, obviously maintenance reasons. But why I, as a layman, am just able to exit the station and come over here? I don't know. No one yelled at me. The elevators and escalators are fully in service. My only guess is they know people use this as parking. Because, like, these aren't Metro vehicles. These aren't, like, equipment vehicles. We're seeing Maryland plates and BC plates. People just park here. Same way they would anywhere else. Seeing a old map here. Let's take a look. So this was some buses over to Tysons. We can see on here there is no silver line on this map. It doesn't exist. It's just the orange line. So this map is like a decade old. So it's the 425 to Tyson's. I imagine that bus probably doesn't even exist anymore. This one, interestingly enough, does still have the silver line. I wonder if this guy got rerouted to the other side of the bus bay. So this one's newer. Bus doesn't stop, at least not on this side anymore. It might still stop at the station on the other side. This is a 28A. I think I've actually been on this bus before. I didn't take it through West Falls Church though. I think it was from Seven Corners to Old Town. There's some metro equipment over here, but for the most part, it just looks like commuters. Oh, this bus route looks like an absolute spaghetti mess. Where does that go? Herndon? Herndon. Tyson's and Herndon. Looks like there were several buses that stopped here. They're not labeled up here, though. So they scrubbed off the bus notifiers up here that tells you what buses stop at each bay, but they didn't get rid of the maps. One is different buses up to Herndon, just takes I-66 up. This one also doesn't have the silver line on there. So there is still an inlet. Obviously, people park here, commuters park here. I think you just have to know. I don't think there's a signage on I-66 saying, hey, this way to the metro station. I think it's just a bit of a on the down low entrance. But yeah, that goes to I-66. Let's not get hit by a car that isn't expecting a pedestrian. Now this side over here, this side, I imagine is probably where the Dulles bus was. Fairfax 950. Is there a map up in here? There is. Well, kind of. This one is another mess, usually just up to Tyson's, up to Herndon. This one looks really similar to the one on the other side, still the silver line on. So I am a bit confused. I didn't see any of those marked as going to Dulles Airport. I might have taken whatever signage is up for that one down. That would be the most confusing, because there might be commuters who may not be super aware of what all is going on out here and think they're still supposed to catch a bus out here. But no, you don't have to do that anymore. Silver line just goes right there. Now, of course, these days, bus service from this far into DC out to Dulles isn't necessary. Metro still runs you out there. I think Metro's gonna be faster than taking a bus, especially whenever there's a high chance of delays in the Dulles Toll Road. All right, let's go take a look on the other side, the side that's actually actively used and actually matters. first thing I see as I come out here, we got a parking garage, bus bays that I'm assuming are actually used on the side, and a Capital Bike Share station. Now, Virginia is usually better than Maryland when it comes to the urbanism, at least the inner parts of Virginia. And Falls Church isn't exactly downtown Arlington. So I'm actually surprised to see a Capital Bike Share station that appears to actually get used this far out. Looks like we've got a good view of the platforms from out here, as well as a Vienna-bound train that looks like it's about to leave. I'm not going to be able to get a good angle from it here, though. If it was New Carrollton, I'd try to record it. I don't recall seeing any in-station bike parking. Double check on Street View during the edit, but I don't think there was any. Got a pretty big surface lot over this way. Bike lockers over here, and then over here we have just regular bike parking. Now, sometimes the Capital Bike Share racks will also have regular bike parking next to them, which makes sense. They don't here, but that's fine because there's other bike racks over here. It's a pretty good amount. It's more than what appears to actually be used, and I imagine this is about the peak. This is like a Thursday in the middle of the workday, so anyone bike commuting here to get to work would be parked here. Still pretty loud. Wind, highway noise really isn't canceled over here. Looks like this is a parking lot. Piston ride and buses are on the other side. Big parking garage, potentially a second surface lot out that way. Okay, so we're at 4:32 and 45 seconds. Our closest place to get a Dr. Pepper is going to be a Giant down the road a little ways. Of course, it's another Giant. I'm going to cheat slightly because I need water. I'm not actually going to buy a Dr. Pepper. I'm going to like prove that Dr. Pepper's there, but then I'm just going to buy a water. The station's like, it's a walking distance, but ideally you'd want to take like a bus or a bike to properly get to like the dense part of Falls Church. It's not too bad though, it's not too bad, especially for where the metro station is. It's saying it's going to be about an 11-minute walk to get to the Giant. There's other things around here, but it's like restaurants and stuff. But I think the Giant's going to be our best bet. Don't complain too much about the Dr. Pepper. I had one earlier today. If you've seen my episode of the station reviews for West Hyattsville, these were filmed on the same day. And I haven't had water since I left home. I should probably do that. Here's a surface lot. Surface lot's not huge, but it's like a 5-story parking garage, which looks like it's used. I don't know. In my experience, a lot of these parking garages are drastically overbuilt. The one that comes to mind is Hyattsville Crossing. Like, no one's ever on anything beyond the first 2 floors. West Hyattsville, honestly, would be a good idea to redevelop part of that parking garage into like retail space. Huh. I wonder if that Fairfax Connector bus used to be a Metro bus. It has a really, really similar paint scheme, and I think that might be the same model. It's like trademark Metro bus red, but that's a Fairfax Connector. Never actually been on that bus system before. So right here, apparently, is a Virginia Tech campus. That's not far at all. Once again, if I haven't already made it clear, I'm not in this area much. Okay, that one's a Metro bus. They look the same to me. Except obviously the logo's different. No sidewalk here. Or a crosswalk. I don't think anyone's going this way though. Like really? It's right outside a metro station. You don't have a crosswalk or even a sidewalk there? It's a pretty cool little piece of art. Just like in my Trudella bus station, I'm not going to film inside Giant. I will probably at least take a picture as like proof for the Dr. Pepper test on this one, especially because I'm not actually going to buy Dr. Pepper, but I want to prove they have it for the sake of the test. If they have single-serve Dr. Pepper in the coolers, I could not find it. Here's the substitute Dr. Pepper. And at 4:48, pretty much on the dot, here is the substitute Dr. Pepper. May have been quicker to go to the McDonald's, but it's too late now. I'm not sure what they're doing with this. That's a temporary light. Stuff's heavily under construction. They got like concrete barriers up there to protect the crosswalk. You know what? Let's try it. I got to cross the street anyways. If they just have a full signal here, props, because a hawk signal is like, I think, actually actively dangerous. Yeah, that looks like that should be touchable. Yeah, there's no audio indicator or anything, but I think this is temporary. I'd be curious to see what exactly they're doing here. But I think this is the VT campus, and this would be like the main way for any of the students to get to like Giant, which appears to be the only grocery store in the area.
Now for the scoring. Architecture. I'm not a big fan of this station. I think it's boring and kind of bad. The station really does just look like a concrete slab, and for as special as this station is, the architecture sure does not add to it. There are some nice views in this station. It's not actively hideous, just kind of plain D tier. Access. This is not the easiest station to get to. It's not easily noticeable. The pedestrian infrastructure, while improving, is still bad. The bus bay is a good walk from the station entrance, and even the surface parking is a pretty long walk. The pedestrian bridge doesn't help matters either, adding extra time to anybody trying to get to the station. The access isn't the worst, but it's still pretty bad. D tier. Connections. The station is only on the orange line and is only one stop off from the silver line, despite it being right there. No points for that though. There's a whole 2 buses that stop here, with most of the buses in the area stopping at East Falls Church instead. The 703 is a neighborhood connector to McLean, and the 28A is a high-frequency line to Old Town via Seven Corners and Tysons. Not good. D tier. It would be an F if the 28A wasn't high frequency. Vibe. This station has mixed vibes. The highway median makes it loud and inaccessible. It has nice views, and the disused bus station is cool to explore. The triple track and double platform is cool for train nerds like me, but it's just confusing for everybody else. The area is going through a lot of modernization, densification, and redevelopment, which does help. The area immediately outside the station is intimidating to pedestrians and sprawling. Honestly, the concrete pad in front of the station is just miserable. The unique factors at this station don't do enough to overcome the shortfalls, but I'll give it a C as opposed to otherwise a D. Land use. Not bad, not the best. As stated before, there's a lot of redevelopment, specifically of the transit-oriented development variety, and the new college campuses, campi, and overall densification. A lot of this is killed by the inaccessibility of the station. There's not a lot for dense housing, with a lot of single-family housing nearby. The area is improving, and quickly, but it's not there yet. C tier. Amenities. This is an averagely bad station when it comes to amenities. It has parking for cars and bikes. No in-station services really at all. No restrooms, ATMs, vending machines, nothing. There's also nothing immediately nearby. It exists in its own sphere of nothing. F tier. Taking everything into account, I will call West Falls Church a D tier station. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. Next week, I will most likely be releasing my DC Metro speedrun video. I don't want to make any promises though, but that's most likely going to be the case.